Unless you follow me on social media, you probably aren't aware that I just completed the Benton Mackaye Trail. I didn't just hike it though, I did whatever it took to complete the nearly 300-mile trail in less than 5 days. Alongside a crew of 2 to 6, I ran and hiked an average of 57 miles per day in hopes of setting the overall fastest known time. Hi guys, my name is Tara Dower. In the next couple weeks, I will be posting daily videos about my time on the Benton Mackaye Trail. Today's video, I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the history and then also my general experience when I was trying to set the FKT on the Benton Mackaye Trail. Before we get into that, I would like to ask you guys to please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications. It only takes a click on y'all's end to help and encourage creators like me. As always, thank you for the support. If you also want to stay up to date with what's going on in my life, if you want to stay up to date with any FKTs I'm currently doing, you can also follow me on all my social media. Before we get to the video, I do want to put a notice out there and let you guys know that FKT as an organization is in the process of verifying my attempt. So they are going through my activity and looking at my GPS logs and making sure that I did the entire trail. So right now it isn't a verified FKT, but kind of unofficially, it's an FKT of the Benton Mackaye Trail right now. The Benton Mackaye Trail stretches exactly 287.5 miles across the southern Appalachian Mountains, starting atop Springer Mtn and ending at Baxter Creek Trailhead right down the road from Davenport Gap. The trail has 54,682 feet in elevation gain and 56,808 feet in elevation loss. The BMT is named after Benton Mackaye, who was a huge advocate for the creation of the Appalachian Trail in the 1920s. The route of this trail closely resembles Mackaye's original proposed idea for the start of the Appalachian Trail, and the Benton Mackaye Trail and the Appalachian Trail are very similar in direction and also in difficulty. When I am making this video, the Benton Mackaye Trail Association Board of Directors is seeking congressional approval to make the Benton Mackaye Trail a national scenic trail. The Benton Mackaye Scenic Trail Act has garnered bipartisan support, but there still are many steps in making the Benton Mackaye Trail, having the Benton Mackaye Trail reach that status of national scenic trail. At the end of this video, I will have some proactive ways that you guys can help in making that dream a reality. I first heard of the Benton Mackaye Trail back a couple years ago when my grandparents moved to a community where the Benton Mackaye Trail actually goes right through. I had recently finished a fastest known time hike on the 1,175-mile Mounts of Sea Trail and was interested in completing the Benton Mackaye in a similar fashion. I made plans to begin a supported FKT of the BMT in October of 2021, but due to injury and other reasons, I decided to stop the attempt about 2 days in. After this event, I did feel pretty weak because I got injured pretty badly, but I was motivated to get stronger and go back the following year to reach my goal. I planned another supported attempt for June of 2022. This time around, I had the experience of 4 100-mile races under my belt and a solid support crew who equally wanted my dream to become a reality. During a supported FKT, you are allowed to have a team of people that are helping you as long as you are purely self-powered. So I did have a pretty solid crew. I had my friend Liz, my friend Flipper, my mom, all accompany me to the beginning at Baxter Creek Trailhead where I would start the trail and go solo. At 3:01 a.m., I left the trailhead and headed up to Mount Sterling, the highest point on the Benton Mackaye. I had planned to make it through the entire 90-ish mile section of the Smokies before resting. So this morning I was pretty overwhelmed with the gravity of that day, so I did want to do 90 plus miles on that first day, but I was also pretty overwhelmed with thinking of the entire attempt in general. I started out going slow up the first long ascent, not hitting my original predicted pace. By that time I got to the first crew stop. 16 miles later, I felt anxious and told my crew to adjust my spreadsheets to reflect a 3-mile-per-hour pace. Next was a 14-mile section and then a cruisy 27-mile section that did feel very long. I got rained on, so I was pretty cold and I was pretty wet. By the time I got to the Lakeshore Trailhead, I wasn't tired or sore, but like I said, I was pretty cold and wet from all that rain that had come that day. But again, I wasn't done for the day yet. I still had 34 miles to go. It was nearing 8 p.m. and Liz and I were going to finish up the Smokies together with that 34-mile section on the Lakeshore Trail, which edged Fontana Lake. After a very long and stressful night where I nearly concussed myself and climbed over what felt like hundreds of blowdowns, we had made it out of the Great Smoky National Park headed for Fontana Dam. Both Liz and I were extremely exhausted and ready for a break, but still in great spirits. Luckily, Flipper and my mom got a hotel room where we could rest for a couple hours. At this point, I did sleep for about an hour. I couldn't really fall asleep. I couldn't fall asleep and stay asleep. I took a shower, ate some food, and went over the next day's plan with my crew. And for that day, I had 40 miles. And I do that because days on this attempt are really just sections of trail where it's not like a 24-hour period, but it's in between sleeps kind of. 2 is when I got back on the trail, 2 p.m. So that was the start of the day, was 2 p.m. So when I say days, that's what I mean by that. So I had 40 miles at this point in the day, starting at 2 p.m. So in this section, there was a lot of climbing, a lot of just really tough, long climbs. And again, I started at 2 p.m. So by 20 miles in for the day, it was getting dark. And as I'm 20 miles in, I'm heading up this huge mountain and I hear thunder and I see these dark clouds rolling in. And I realize I am perfectly in between crew stops. So really all I have to do is keep going forward. I can't go back. I can't just stop. I have to keep going forward to get through this section. For the next 4 hours, I am on this tall ridgeline on the top of this very tall mountain for 4 hours straight. During this thunderstorm, rainstorm, strong windstorm, it's getting cold, the temperature is dropping really fast. On top of this mountain too are pretty much the only balds during the entire Benton Mackaye Trail. There are a couple others, but there are 3 balds on this mountain. Of course there are, during a thunderstorm. So I'm going through these balds, and as you guys know, balds are just sections of a mountain that don't have any tree cover. So with a thunderstorm, you want to stay under the trees because the lightning will strike the trees or anything that's tall. You don't want to be out there on top of a mountain without any tree cover. So thunder and lightning is crackling over my head. I am being pelted with this rain and this wind, and the temperature is dropping. It is getting so cold, and it's just monsooning down the trail. The trail is just there's loads of water just coming down the trail. And I'm obviously up there by myself, and it's nearing the middle of the night, and I know that I'm off pace. I am off pace by a couple hours. I am, instead of doing 3 miles per hour, I am doing around, a 30-minute mile, and that is not common for me. Especially in these attempts. But finally, I made it to the next crew stop, and obviously the rain had stopped. As I'm descending off this mountain, the rain had stopped at this point, and I'm coming to the next crew stop. It is 1:30, 2 hours after I was supposed to get to this crew stop, and my mom came out of the van, and she was so scared. She's like, "Tara, is that you? I thought you were dead." Flipper had gone down to the nearest town to check my location on my spot because they didn't have any service and possibly call search and rescue. All of that to say, 2 things with that. A Houdini by Patagonia is what saved my life out there. It kept all the heat in. It is a wind layer. It is not waterproof, but man, it kept me warm. And second, that was pretty much the most traumatic night on the trail. So it can only get better from there. I only completed 30 miles that day, but felt fresh at 6 a.m. the next day. So for most of it, I did run at a pretty good pace. Flipper's car did almost fall off a mountain on a forced service road, and he missed me at a crucial stop for the day. I had around 23 miles where I had to ration my food from the section before. And by the end of that section, I was very hungry and hot, but still motivated to continue at a good pace. Turns out Flipper's oil pan was damaged, so he had to get it fixed before getting back with us for support. So we didn't have him there for the night, which was sad for sure. However, in the next section, towards the end of the day, my friend that I met at Cruel Jewel, who's the photographer there, had arrived to take photos and offer support where needed. So Pete is pretty well known in the East Coast running scene. He is from Alabama, and he takes incredible photos, and he is the nicest guy. He came to be with us for the next 3 days until I finished, and I know that really made my mom feel better, and I also felt better having another crew member there. He is just such a positive person, and he was really crucial to the support for sure. So that night we did stay at Lost Creek Campground. The fourth day of walking was probably the most painful day I had on trail. My feet were hurting from some blisters and I was generally sore. I only had around 50-ish miles for this day and called this my maintenance day. The day before, a 3-mile-per-hour pace was easy, when on the fourth day I had to really work hard in order to keep up anything close to that. But by the end of the day, I finished around midnight at Bushy Head Road, and Flipper got his car fixed, and Pete was there, my mom was there. So the whole crew was back together, and everyone was in really good spirits. The next day was going to be my last, and I only had 56 miles left until the end on top of Springer Mountain. From the beginning, I did have a goal of finishing the Benton Mackaye Trail under 5 days, and when I woke up, I only had around 22 hours to complete the remaining miles, but knew that I was feeling good, I was in good spirits, I had a good crew, so I was ready to kill that last day. Besides my stomach issue, that day was perfect. In my opinion, this section of trail is the best and most well-maintained. Hunter, who holds the current record, came out and paced me for part of the run. Pete's friend Chris also came out and helped push my pace for around 12 miles in the day. Pete even paced me for 9 miles and provided me with a lot of entertainment to get my mind off of the clock. I finished the Benton Mackaye Trail in 4 days, 21 hours, and 25 minutes. I was happy to have achieved my goal, but honestly I wasn't necessarily happy to have been done with the trail. For most of the run, I was feeling good. I was in good spirits. My crew was in good spirits. I had a good group of people around me. Yeah, there were definitely hard moments, but for the most part, it was a good time. And when I was finishing, I was thinking, okay, what's next? I'm ready to do the next thing. Like I mentioned, the attempt is not verified by fastest known time as an organization yet, and I will be updating y'all on the status of my FKT on the BMT. I will have daily vlogs posted soon, probably in the next couple weeks, so if you haven't already subscribed, please do so you can watch those and get a more in-depth picture of what that FKT looked like. So like I mentioned at the beginning, the BMTA is attempting to make the BMT a National Scenic Trail, so how can you guys help? The BMTA asks that you email or write to your representative in the House and Senate and tell them why you think the BMT should receive NST status. I'll link the bmta.org in the description where they make it easy for you to contact your representative. A little unrelated housekeeping, I have a lot of fun things coming up here in the next month or so. My husband and I are, in just a little bit, we are flying to Colorado for a wedding, and then after the wedding, headed to Durango to pick up a friend to head to California. As some of you know, I attempted to thru hike the Muir Trail last year, but due to fire closures, we had to get off maybe 80 or so miles before the end. We were having such a good time, and I was so bummed to get off the trail. So we did get permits to finish up the Muir Trail. I am really excited to do that with not only my friend Reese, who I did it with last year, but also Jonathan. He hasn't been backpacking since we finished our Appalachian Trail thru hike in 2019, so I know he is really excited to get back on the trail and experience some beautiful landscapes, especially the Muir Trail. It's like one of the most beautiful places on the planet, honestly. Sierras are A++, gorgeous. So with that, with a lot of traveling, these videos, the weekly videos that I do might be a little sporadic. That is all for right now, guys. If you did watch the end, please comment a airplane emoji to show me that you did watch the end, and I will say hello in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy hiking.